Okay, so now that I've got everything squared up and all the lines looking good, then I'm going to go ahead and start carving in here. That's actually, I think, going to be an easier thing to do than squaring it up and getting everything straight. Okay, so what am I going to start with? I'll probably start, just like I did with the slab, maybe with this flat-tipped tool right here, and I can just go in and start taking down that the bottom layer there. So just ever so carefully, just scraping that away. And you see how I'm resting my hand here, and I'm not going into it like this. If I was carving wood, maybe I'd be going into it like this, but this is much softer than wood. So just scratching it away is going to be a much easier way of going. Now, hopefully you learned with your slab not to make things too deep. All right. So when I do this, I'm going to go little by little. So I've got this edge right here, and I went through a lot to keep that edge straight. So that's the first thing I'm going to do is protect that edge. So here we go. I'm going to go right along this edge the way that is. Just pop that out a little bit. Little bit. This is fairly dry right now, right? As you can see, it hasn't turned white. It's not that dry, but it's pretty firm. You see, it's not crushing when I put any kind of pressure on it. So hopefully yours is about like that. It'd be pretty hard actually to carve these things if they were super wet to the point where, they just, mushed and distorted every time that you squeezed it. Okay, so I've got this, and I just continue to lay that out nice and flat. Just carving it away from the petals and whatnot. And that's going to be my first layer, and I'll probably do that all the way around. So I've taken and carved out all the bottom layer here, and if you'll notice that it's not very deep. I don't know if you can really see that on the video, but if you'll look, like right here, for instance, you'll see just not very deep at all. Now I've done the whole cup this way because if I had to handle it all, I didn't want to mess up any of the detail in one area while I hold it to carve another area. So that's why I did the whole thing. The other thing is that I could make this very smooth. I could sit there and smooth things out, but I think that I'll prefer to leave it sort of with a texture. But if I'm going to leave it with a texture, you want to make the texture interesting, right? So, I have a little bit here, maybe a little cut here, a little bit over here, and a lot of it's happening just sort of by accident. But, if it was just straight patterns that were just, not very attractive, then I would want to break them up a little bit, as I say, to give it almost a stone-like quality in these areas, if you can see that. Right. Okay, so but now that I've done all that, I'm going to start carving in these flowers a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these ones that have a pointed edge, and I'm going to start undercutting, because I want these things to be a little bit more three-dimensional. So just like I was showing in my other videos, I'm going to get in here and just barely go underneath. So like right here, go barely underneath that. That's the undercutting. And you can see how much stronger that line is now becoming when I do that. So I'll just do that all the way around on all these guys. Okay, so I found that I actually used this tool right here, the large curve, the most. And I went around and I undercut all the petals. Then I undercut all the edges here. I used the small curve tool to sort of fix some of the edges and make them nice and consistently round there and on the petals of the flowers. Then what I did, and I did that all the way around, right, so that I wouldn't get anything messed up. Then what I did is I took the large curve tool and I just dug out sort of the inside of the petals and brought the level of the petal down below the level of the center, thus giving the petals their shape. I cut around the edges of the center, just like so, carving in and rounding the edges so that it gives it more of a bubbled-like finish around there. Finally, to add a little bit of detail, what I did is I just took the end of a paintbrush and I just poked in. I wanted to soften that a little bit, so I took some more water and just brushed it around. And that's how I got all my layering. More detail in carving is done on the slab, right? So if you needed a little bit more instruction, you could go back and look at it then. But once again, just carving around the edges, defining the edges, carving it down, giving it some shape, giving the center part some shape, even going down in the center a little bit, and then giving it a texture, cleaning it all up. And I did this in stages all the way around. In other words, I did not finish one flower and then move on. I did all the flowers sort of at once. Kind of like if you think back to when we were doing the 4 bowls that were all the same. Remember, we worked in stages. We didn't do one to completion. So the same thing here, and all the lessons that you've learned in past projects will help you with this one.